Hi there, Rabbi. I see you have the old city in mind for today's conversation. And I'm interested in your views on the controversy surrounding the current policies of the government of Israel. I'm not saying that Israel is doing the right thing or the wrong thing, although there are a lot of people who do say they're doing the right thing and the wrong thing. And the conversations all seem to remind me of nothing so much as the ones that I heard in the 60s and the 70s regarding Vietnam, when people would saying, it's my country, right or wrong, I'm going to do whatever my country says we should do. Innocent people die in war, and all the other side has to do is surrender and everything will be better. And I'm not even saying either one of those strategies is right or wrong, but it seems like we've been here before. And there's been versions of this before that and before that, as far as you can go back. Somebody's always right, somebody's always wrong. My side is always right. I've never seen any version of history where anyone from Napoleon on up said, I'm a bad guy and I'm doing bad things, but I want to. No, everybody's always the good guy. Where are we with all this?
I'm reminded of the flag, united we stand, divided we fall. And there's two parts to what's going on. The Jewish community needs to begin to listen to members of the Jewish community. We are actually feeding anti-Semitism. We're feeding the destruction of Israel by the fact that we're after each other and we don't listen. It's exactly what you described. Two camps. And the solution lies in separating Judaism from the modern state of Israel. Let's put aside the founding of the state. Let's put aside philosophy, religion, and theology, and let's look at what's going on. Israel, the country, is surrounded by countries that want to destroy it. The Houthis, this is the terror proxy for the Islamic Republic of Iran. They've stated over and over again, we want to destroy Israel, we want to kill Jews. Hamas in their charter, destroy Israel, kill Jews. Hezbollah in their charter. And someone pointed out to me, well, they took it out of their website. Yeah, right. They took it off the website, but they still publish it and talk about it. The country of Israel is surrounded by countries, terrorist organizations that want to destroy it. And so Israel as a country needs to do what Israel as a country needs to do. And often it's not consistent with what a lot of people believe Judaism is about. And there are teachings, and people quote both sides. One side quotes, destroy your enemy. The other side quotes, don't destroy your enemy. Both sides are going to the same sources and asking Israel to do what we used to say in the military. Sergeant, get everyone to form a circle alphabetically by height according to their birthday, and that's an order. You can't do that. And that's the foolishness of everyone taking sides. So our first step is to step back and say, Israel as a country is doing what Israel is doing. I don't agree with a lot of their political decisions. I don't agree with the political decisions of the state of Texas or the state of California or the District of Columbia. We can disagree and we can then talk about the politics of Israel. The problem is we're throwing in Judaism. Let's pull that out and acknowledge Judaism existed before the state of Israel and will exist, God forbid, if the state of Israel were to disappear. It's been around. It will be. So the Jewish community we need to look at each other and where are you getting your ideas? Let's share some things. But right now, what we're doing is throwing people off stage, throwing people under the bus, condemning each other. It's Jew versus Jew. Mad Magazine had spy versus spy. it ends up with the destruction. It it gives support to those that want to destroy us as Jews. So if our goal is to destroy Judaism, we don't need anti-Semites. We're doing it to ourselves. So let's start by stopping. And let's look at each other and agree, as we used to say in West Virginia, there are many ways to skin a cat. Now, I don't know why you'd want to skin a cat at all. However, there are many ways.
Well, I think you're going to have a lot of trouble convincing people, especially in Israel, that they're going to have to separate the concept of Jewish religion from the concept of the Jewish government, because that was the basis of its founding, wasn't it?
It was, but I'm not focusing on I'm not an Israeli, and I'm talking about American citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with non-Israeli Jews. And just like I'm not French, I'm not Italian, and so I'm not Mexican or Canadian, and I can make comments about those places, okay? But I'm not interested right now in talking to Israelis because they have to do what they need to do for their survival. The problem is Jews everywhere in the known universe are giving their opinions and throwing anyone that disagrees with them under the bus. And that's the group I want to focus on. I want to focus on our viewers and our listeners.
Now, you've commented many times in the past on getting Jews to agree on any idea. What was it you used to say? Ask any 10 Jews for their opinion and you'll get 12 answers. But how are we going to does everyone have to agree? I mean, that seems a little idealistic.
I'm not asking for everyone to agree on a position. What I'm asking us to do is agree to have civil conversation, to talk to each other, and then not throw ideology and not fall back on absolutes and not call people names. That's what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for everyone to agree. No, no. However, unless we talk to each other, I don't know your position. Look, we invite people to be guests who disagree with us, but they never agree to be on our show. Why? It's bizarre.
Well,
I invite people on TikTok to join me who disagree with me. So far, no one has taken me up on my offer.
one of the things that I was trying to tell people before the last election was for everyone who says that Donald Trump is an idiot and he should not be president and anybody who votes for him is stupid, I would always say that's another vote that he just got. That's not endorsing one side or the other, it's just an observation. But communication is the key, as you say. However, there's always the possibility that the wrong side will win the argument by sheer numbers. Isn't that what we're worried about? In
In the Jewish community, the fanatic, the absolutists are steamrolling and preventing any sense of maybe somebody has another idea. We should talk with each other. Again, Joe, I want to separate is the politics of the state of Israel and leave that up to the Israelis. I want the rest of us to look at each other and say, how do I understand my Judaism with what's going on the world stage? And I want to understand my Judaism in terms of the choices the state of Israel is making. And we're not doing that. We're not looking at our own Judaism. And we're hitching Judaism to the state of Israel. I don't think all Catholics in the known universe agree with the Vatican. Italy allows abortion. Ireland allows abortion. Both Catholic countries that didn't allow it because they realize that you need to separate something political from religion observation, and you have choices. So that's what I present to us, Joe. I want us as a community to listen, to talk to each other, and not do exactly what you say, condemn me or call me whatever names you want or ignore me just because I don't agree with you. What's going on? Let's talk about being Jewish and not cloud the issue with Israeli politics.
I'm sure there are a lot of Catholics who feel that the country has failed their faith by allowing those choices. Isn't there something to be said for taking a moral stand against what you think is wrong, even if it's just based on your faith?
There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is when you use government and laws to enforce your position. Look, I've mentioned this before. Um, Christians point to the Old Testament as the Word of God. It says you don't eat pork. I want pork banned in the United States. How far would that get? Rather, it's a choice. You want to follow dietary laws? Don't eat pork. Don't eat shellfish. Even if you live in Maryland, you have to get rid of that crab table because it's forbidden. That's a, that's not a good idea to use politics to put forward one's parochial religious beliefs, but it doesn't mean you wouldn't get in the public forum. You can certainly talk about, I morally am against abortion. I'm morally against eating pork. I'm morally against eating lobster. Okay? Let's put it out there. Let's have a discussion. The danger is when we use the government to enforce our views, and history shows it's a big mistake. And the founders of the United States talked about a separation of church and state because they saw the dangers of using laws to promote a specific religion.
Well, as always, your words have a lot of impact, with me especially. I now visualize myself in a future where crabs are illegal and I get arrested one night, waist deep in the water with a net and a flashlight in one hand. But I always appreciate your opinion and wisdom, Rabbi. And one of these days, you and I will have to go have crab cakes or something like that and talk about it more.
And for those watching and listening, examine your Judaism and then pull out the state of Israel and talk to yourself what it means to be a Jew, because I don't think it means the same as being an Israeli.